and study, everybody. Welcome back to Chatty Wonderful. So if you have not subscribed, do me a favor and subscribe right now. Share this video, like, and also check out the rest of the videos. Thank you very much for being here. So
thank you very much. Can you give a round of applause for her?
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Abusia for titi will be calm. Me city it will be calm. NDC it will be calm. NDC it will be chere. Me too e come pe kasa. Then so assembly abo bi pusa. Na sa asem no so edika. Enu ti na me pray akasa se akasaye. National Chairman, General Mosquito, the only Chairman General in Ghanaian politics. Honorable Emmanuel Buhari, Honorable Ras Mubarak, my boss, Dr. Peter Tukono, chapter and branch executives of the United States. We prepare this, but unfortunately, say the boss can't pay the day. We don't have much time to waste. So I have to quickly do the introduction of the guest speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not easy to introduce a person who needs no introduction. I think you all bear with me, right? It is my pleasure to introduce to you the special guest of honor, who is a very, very young man. He is a renowned banker, a stock broker, and a teacher. This young man is married with 5 children. In relation to his academic achievements, he has achieved so much that time will not permit me to talk about. He is a product of the best university in Ghana, that is University of Ghana. He is the product of the only university, the best university in Ghana, that is University of Ghana. Pertaining to his political achievements, he was the vice president of the Socialist International. That was from 2017 to 2022. He was the deputy minister of food and agriculture from 1997 to 2001. He was the MP for Wenchi West in the Fourth Republic, among other notable positions in Wenchi West. He is noted to be the longest serving general secretary in the NDC. He is currently the national chairman of the NDC. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation and a hand of applause, the national chairman of the NDC, who is leading us to victory 2024 elections, Honorable Asiedu Nketiah.
Well, I don't know whether I should continue or wait for the DJ.
Arise, arise for Ghana, the pictures of the land. The words that seek your future, developments our goal. From victory unto victory, the NDC shall live. A stable democracy, Ghana, our strength in unity. From victory unto victory, the NDC shall live. A stable democracy, Ghana.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman of Atlanta branch, comrades from the U.S. chapter, our big brother from Nigeria, and all other protocols observed. Let me say how happy I have been the past 3 days in enjoying the warm hospitality I have received so far from the Atlanta branch of the National Democratic Congress. I've had time to rest, to chat, and to eat as much as I can. I'm very, very grateful, particularly to Dr. Ali, who hosted me yesterday, and we had fun together. I'm also happy because of the renewed unity, vigor, and enthusiasm of the branches in the U.S. Those of you who are old enough will remember my struggles with the U.S. chapter some days ago. In fact, I was so disturbed that the chapter was focused on trading insults on social media and other things. They were so focused on that it was becoming counterproductive. So I had to come to call a spade, and to ask you whether you wanted us to retain your chapter or to abolish it so that everybody will have his peace. And from that day, I have observed very marked departure from what used to be your trademark. I'm very happy that we have a new chapter focused with the eye on the ball. That is victory for the party. Besides campaigning and talking about victory, for the past few years, the U.S. chapter has been leading in financial and other resource contributions to the party from outside Ghana. And we want to thank you very much. We are very active during the fundraising towards the 2020 elections. Then when we go to the National Congress, you were recognized for having contributed, and then you repeated same during our presidential primaries. We hope that that practice will continue and we will never revisit our history of rancor and disagreements. The evening is fast spent, so I don't intend to give a long speech. As Peter has already said, we are here to raise funds. We can't afford to spend all the time on long speeches. But let me recognize a very important suggestion you've made. That is about the representation of the diaspora on the National Executive Committee of the party. I find it a very useful suggestion. And so we'll carry it on board to our next Congress, where there will be opportunity to look at the Constitution and effect the necessary amendments to ensure that the diasporas are duly represented. Earlier speakers have indicated the need for you to adopt branches, the need to offer your services as polling agents and all that. And I'm not going to repeat that. Suffice it to say that the 2024 elections have already been described by my good self as a communal labor, a call to duty. Our country has been sinking for the past 7 years, and we either have to fight or flee. We cannot afford to flee, so we must stay and fight. And so the election is not going to be easy, even though the polls suggest landslide victory for both our presidential candidate and our parliamentary candidates. We are dealing with a wounded tiger, and so we should not be complacent until we are declared victorious. Nana Akufo-Addo and his government can be likened to a person who is riding a tiger. If you get down, you'll be devoured. And if you stay at the back of the tiger, you die of hunger. And so they are not worried about leaving power. But the real problem is about what happens after they've left power. But we keep assuring them that to save Ghana, we should not allow anybody to engage in wrongdoing, in looting the country and getting away with it. And so if that is what they are scared of, they better prepare.
Yes.
They still have time to vomit all the loot or hold on to it and face the consequence. You know, there was a story of an old man who had so much money in his safe, and when he was sick, he kept keeping the key to the safe in his pocket and put his hand on it, that he would never release the key. But he died. They took the key and opened all his treasures. So those who can communicate to the MPP people, let them know that it is our duty to save this country. And one way of saving the country is to take over power and hold each and every duty bearer accountable for their stewardship. And so, we are prepared to do everything that it takes to kick them out and save this country. I've heard Dr. Ayala about the role of technology in the upcoming elections. I agree with him, but there are other things that are equally important. With technology, we always say garbage in, garbage out. One of our key problems has been our own personnel. Because our elections is not fully digital. We do a lot of manual operations before we get to collation, which then becomes digital. And so if we don't have the right people in the right places during the elections, technology alone cannot save you. And so we've recognized this, and we are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that we have the right people at the right places during the election time. You may have heard about our new approach of recruiting election directors across the country. Our mantra is character and competence. So it is good to recruit the people with the knowledge and expertise. But it is more important to get such people who have character. Because so we test their competence, and then we do background checks to ensure that we have a safe pair of hands at every district and at every polling station to handle the elections. And so we can assure you that we are doing everything possible to ensure that this election will be won and won convincingly. Having said that, we are still available for any other contributions and suggestions that will improve the technology we have put in place to ensure that we have a good collation system. Comrades, there are already, as Comrade Mubarak has said, there are a lot of expectations about what is in for us after victory is achieved. I'll still repeat my caution that let's go for the hunting first. And when we kill the game, we now argue about how to share the meat. Otherwise, your struggle about who to take what part may even compromise your effort to go hunting. So that is why I don't always talk about what is in for you after victory. I've been there before. I remember, without mentioning names, in a particular constituency in 2004, our candidate was cruising to victory, and he made a mistake of naming people who occupy certain positions. That constituency was in Eastern region. He started listing people, oh, this will be my DC, this will be this will be that, this will be that. Then he thought that by telling people what they will be getting after the victory, it will encourage them. Yes, it encouraged a few people on the list, but the others outside the list were discouraged. And it happened that the husband of his woman organizer was expecting to be appointed a DCE. And so when he saw the list and realized that that husband's name was not on the list, he said, Allah, you will never get it. So this woman worked so hard to undermine the candidate that he never got to parliament. That is how dangerous it is to begin counting your chicken before they are hatched. And that is why I keep advising that let us focus on the ball and get the victory first, and all other things shall be added unto us. Once we win victory, whether you get a position or not, if the living conditions in Ghana improves, it affects you in diaspora. Because the demands on you to send money on regular basis will be reduced. At least if for nothing at all. Those of you who don't get any position at all, if the conditions in Ghana are improved, it affects your pocket here because the demands for family members to be remitting them and all that will be reduced. I've said so to some pastors before that you may not occupy political office, but the collections and the time The return from the tax collection in Chapo increases when you have a good government in power. And that is the reason why, even if you are not a politician and you are a pastor, it is in your interest to fight for a good government to take office in the country. So it is communal labor, and everybody stands to benefit when we come to power. The task ahead of us after winning power will be much more difficult than the fight for power. We all know that our democracy is almost in shambles. All the democratic institutions are not working because this government has compromised those institutions, has captured all the institutions and converted them away from serving the people to serving their personal and family interests. So there's a major task ahead of us to be able to disentangle the state capture so that we can free the state institutions to function. Luckily, President Mahama has promised the completion of the constitutional reform process that has been stalled for the past 7 years. And I believe that very important concerns about our compatriots living in diaspora will be addressed. The way the courts have interpreted this rule about not holding dual citizenship before contesting for certain positions and so on, I believe that this can only be cured with a constitutional reform process. And so that is what we intend to do. The way the law had been interpreted before Akufo-Addo's time was not as troublesome as how it is being interpreted now. We all knew that if you had dual citizenship, you could contest elections, and in some cases, the people have to renounce the dual citizenship even after winning the elections. That used to be the interpretation attached to it, because the Constitution provides that you cannot be a member of Parliament if you are a dual citizen. It didn't say that you cannot contest. And it is not all who contest who become members of Parliament. And even after winning elections, you are still not a member of Parliament until you are sworn in. So previously, this was how the law was interpreted. Some way, somehow, for mischief reasons, the court succumbed to the pressure of MPP to now interpret the law away from their earlier interpretation, the same court, to now demand that even before you file to contest elections, you shouldn't be having dual citizenship. We think that these things can be corrected. We have been forced in this election cycle to implement what the court has decided. But I don't think it is good enough. But that is the law, because that is the ruling of the Supreme Court. I believe that when we get to the constitutional reform, this important challenge will be addressed. Apart from the technology to win elections, Dr. Ali, I want to throw another challenge, that even after winning elections, we will need people with expertise to trace our looted funds that have been stashed outside this country. Yes. And I believe strongly that if we are able to recover all the loot, we will not need to go to IMF for anything. And so it is very important that in our early years in government, we should devote extra attention and effort to recover our looted properties so we can use it for the benefit of all Ghanaians. There will be the need to reform all our state institutions. Our security system has been compromised. Our justice system is in trouble because of packing of courts. And our natural resource commissions. When you hear about Galamsey and the damage Galamsey is doing to our environment, I believe that the root cause is with the commissions that do allocation of natural resources, of concessions for exploitation of natural resources. We have the Minerals Commission, which give licenses anyhow. We have the Fisheries Commission, we have Forestry Commission, and so on. So these commissions, if they are not functioning properly, you cannot have a good system of sustainably exploiting your natural resources. And there is a lot of work in that direction to be done. If you have recruitment into our security system, now moving away from merit to ethnicity and political considerations, then you know that the nation is in trouble. And something must be done, and must be done soon. Otherwise, we get into a crisis where the security system becomes the problem in our democracy. I think that the earlier we dealt with it, the better. I don't want to continue because Sikam Pedede, and I know that we have to leave this place around 10 p.m. We haven't eaten yet, and we haven't collected money yet. So permit me to end the sermon and then request for the collections on the room. Thank you very much.
You know what?
If you have not subscribed already, subscribe, share this video, like, and also check out the rest of the videos. Stay safe and blessed, and I'll see you on the next one.